Hello, swivel heads. It's Greg Allison with Green Gregs coming to you live, Swivelhead News on the remnant of Wednesday night. Should say Wednesday night live, but it's almost Thursday morning. So it is, in fact, 4,700 hours Central Daylight Time on deck. And my friends, we got a lot of stuff going on in the world. I'm going to talk a little bit about the status of the war. I'm going to talk about it from a little bit of what's going on, but also from the philosophical standpoint, who's really got the chance of winning. I hear two different stories on this. There's, the side that Russians will come in and cream them, and the other side, Russia's already lost them. We'll hear them both. Well, I'm going to discern this to you as to what the real critical points are in this war without trying to take sides on it. I'm just going to lay it out, the bare essential facts for what it takes for either side to win this war. And it's still somewhat to be determined, but I have my suspicions as to where this is going. I'm setting this other screen up to follow your chat, my friends, because I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to do this without going through other websites. We're just going to talk about it from our heart. All right, we got 26 in the room. I'm glad to see that. I've been real busy lately with my day job. In fact, I'm going to have to get back on my day job a little bit tonight. So I don't want to stay on here too late tonight because I got things to do. And I got another video I really wanted to do, for, believe it or not, for my channel, Galactic Gregs. I was going to do a video on this DART experiment where NASA rammed a satellite into an asteroid and changed its orbit. They got results back now. I'm going to talk about that. You'll find that on Galactic Gregs really soon. That's breaking news. I like to come out with that stuff for all the other channels, get it out there because I got it. I know it. It's just having time to put it together and balance all this stuff. But I used to do this on Wednesday night here with you guys. So I decided, well, it's late, maybe too late to post that other than now, but I need to give you guys a little look see and say hi and kind of tell you what's going on, guys. This is kind of tough talking about all this war news all the time. It drains on your soul. That's one reason I go and do some of these other videos in Galactic Gregs. Space is a little bit more hopeful in general. I'm looking for things, especially when you can stop doomsday, when you can cancel doomsday by smacking an asteroid, at least one of the doomsdays, or at least put it under better control. So we'll talk about that. Hey, Wise Al, how you doing? Alcurad 1776. What's up, Greg? And question, what can I do myself? What can I do if my folks refuse to prepare? Well, you got to figure out who you're going to help out when it hits the fan. Yeah, that's always a problem. There's people that just aren't buying into this. I mean, despite of everything going on, you got these normie Normans who think the world is just, it'll all blow over. Nothing's going to happen. I hear it from them all the time. And a lot of them are fans of the big, it's nothing going to happen psyop called this letter. It's got a squiggly tail through it. Oh yeah, don't worry. They're going to put Trump back in power. Don't matter what, it's going to happen. Absolutely. The military. Yeah, that woke military. Yeah, that's what they believe. But the fact that military was too woke to do what everybody in that group said they were going to, oh yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Don't worry your pretty little head. He's going to be put in power. And that's what I was hearing these guys saying. It's like, you don't know who's running this military. You don't have a clue. Oh, but they were all certain. And when it didn't happen, they had much more excuses. And then the next story comes out. Oh, they're all buying into that. They just, keep buying the same old wolf tale. Boy crying wolf. They keep buying the same junk over and over and over and over and over. Like somebody that listens to Steve Manoon, every year. The asteroids are going to hit us this fall and they're going to wipe us out. But they don't ever happen, but they keep coming back and they believe everything he tells them next time around. So really, guys, think, if you do anything on my channel, let me train you how to think. Don't buy everything, wash your head, sometimes you got to stop and say, does this even make walking around sense? And maybe you don't have enough facts. That's why I come in with videos explaining some reasons why these guys are so wrong. It's not funny. And I back it with facts, guys. And I attack people on both sides a lot of times. If you something totally goofy, I'm gonna say something about it. Hey, Captain Trump, Space Talk is your calling. Love the video on Galactic Gregs. Oh, very good, very good. Well, I am a space guy. I mean, look, I got a rocket motor here. I got rocket wreckage back there. I got a rocket motor test stand. Should I actually air the video where I actually pulled a rocket motor test stand off my truck? Yeah, we got it off Betsy Blue. It's one of my little adventures. I wished I had good video when I was building this log barn. Holy smoke, y'all have been laughing. I was like that old guy with a boat down in the swamps, pulling logs. Here we go. Boom. And you did the change. And literally, that's the way it was. And driving the tractor through the swamps. Yeah, I was doing that too, guys. It was pretty crazy. Flying logs through the air with chains, trying to get them to precision landings on the barn. That was interesting. It was a sight to see. 256 in the house. How you doing? Hey, so you're in my area code. Good to see you, citizen. See, Daniel 4, 2 words. Don't bite. Exactly. Don't bite. There's so much horse manure out there. You know, horse manure belongs in the worm bed, not in your head. It goes in the worm bed, not in your head. Just remember that when it comes to BS and and horse dovers. So bang on. There you go. Thank you there, Arnold. So your hair is just a little bit longer, 101, like a commercial, the cigarette commercials used to be out there. Benjamin Hedges, 101, just a little bit longer. All right, Green Country. Hey, Green Country's in the house. I hope so. Hey, guys, if he's in the house, well, you got to give him a shout out. There he is, Green Country Agroforestry. No one is coming to save you. Exactly. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Green Country Agroforestry, go there. Subscribe right now. Do it. Don't waste your time. Do it right now. Do it. He is one smart fellow. When a rocket scientist tells you somebody smart, take it to the bank. This man is really smart. He puts good content on his channel. Really good content. A lot of details. Tells you what to do and how to do it and gives you background. This guy is sharp. I'm going to tell you this. He is one sharp cookie. Mr. Avers. Check him out. He's my fellow wizard buddy. But check him out, guys. Go to his channel. Do it now. Don't waste any time about it. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. He deserves 100,000 times more subscribers than he's got. So go on there. He is a good man. Green Gregs. What is this? There shouldn't be any other Green Gregs coming in here. Guys, this guy's got to be hidden in the channel. No other person should be on here parading with the Green Gregs. That's not me. That is not me. I don't know who this is, but that is. Don't come on my channel with my name. You're hidden. I did it myself. Bye-bye. You're out of here. Don't come in here with my channel name in your title. You're gone. Boom. You know, you know, you do not deserve to be on my channel if you'll come in here with that and posting a bunch of hoopity goop. All right, you probably work for Steve Manoon. I don't know, guys. So I try to bring you facts. And if I do a video refuting somebody else's video, I back it up. I mean, I back it up. It's just like when I was refuting the guy who said that when the sun goes into micronovas and evaporated 600 feet of seawater. And what I did, I calculated how many little boy atomic bombs it would take to actually evaporate worldwide 600 feet of the world's oceans. And I did it. And I showed you all the calculations as I went through it. Every bit. I did it. Who else does that? I showed you how off the rocker that stuff was, how off the rocker it was. And I gave other geological evidence for why that stuff never happened from several different backgrounds. You know, it didn't happen. That's why I'm not buying into Ben Davison and that crowd. All right, Joanne, how you doing? So we're going to go into this check in from Bandana, Kentucky. Okay, very good. Greg, he was listed as green. Oh, green. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I get him. Greens. Okay, no, not greens. Let's see if I can undo it. Shoot. Mods, I need like, I can't. How come I can't do it? I'll have to go in later, I guess, because one of the buttons show up. There's no buttons there. You usually have 3 buttons to show that. Okay, greens. My apologies if you're still in the around. I'll have to go into the settings to change this. Unless you mods can do. I don't think you can undo me though. If you can, go for it, New Days. Oh shoot, man, I knocked them out. I misread that. Oh, there it is. You got to go to where you did it. Okay. Let's see here. Unhide. Bing. Well, I hit the unhider button. Oh, he must be on here because now the next thing is hide from the channel. All right, greens. My apologies. You know, if I screw up, I admit it, and I did. You know, the problem is I have had somebody come in here spoofing me, and you know, making trouble, and so I just jumped the gun. I'm sorry about that. My apologies. Well, I got you unhidden, but I don't know, you might have left in disgust. If you did, my apologies. If you're still here, say hi. My apologies. Yeah, he'll probably never be back. My bad. But sorry about that. Man, he probably unsubscribed. Might have been my most loyal friend and worm buyer. I don't know. But guys, I have been spoofed. I've seen people go into other channels and spoof them. Hey, there you are. There you are. Thank you. I was just trying to say that my dad was named Greg Green. Oh, I've known him. There was a Greg Green that used to work at in the company I'm in. He was at one time the head of system safety at Bastion Technologies, Hernandez before that. So are you in my area? Could that by any chance be him? Yeah, I knew a Greg Green. Pickaxe, how you doing, buddy? Sarah Star, good to see you. So Cha-Cha, how you doing? Sorry, Greg, sorry about that, greens. My bad. Sometimes I'm dyslexic or less dyslexic or something. When I read stuff, I don't read it right. I'm bad about that. Hi, folks. Thanks for taking the time to come out and visit. Oh, thank you there, Arnold Schmidt. So, Honeywell Allied Signal. Okay, an engineer. Sounds interesting. Where? Hey, we got North Alabama hiking in the house. Good to see you. All right, so Citizen Z, do you know the guy from Smarter Every Day? No, I don't know that guy. All right, guys. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening. He worked for LIC and then Honeywell. Now, Honeywell is really big on guidance technology. They build ring laser gyros, old-fashioned gyroscopes, guidance navigation packages. We have Honeywell equipment on our space launch system, and something we call a RENU, which was built by Honeywell. It's the redundant inertial navigation unit, which was based on something called FTINU, fault tolerance inertial navigation unit. And the next generation of that was called the Inca inertial navigation. What's A for? Simple. I forget how. I used to know the Inca inside and out. You know, those are flight computers basically for the Atlas and ULA family of rockets. All right, so that's what that is. Hans Hammond, how you doing? Thank you for number 55. I think that's my cabin. Your cabin? What's that there, John? Your cabin? You know, I built a cabin once upon a time. Got a log barn now. All right, guys. So let's go on here. Let's talk about Russia. And hello and good evening, sir. All right, good to see you, Hans. So this whole thing is stepping up to a whole new level. This war in Ukraine with the Ukrainians and the Russians. It is going hot. I mean, it's been hot. It's been bad. It's been ugly, but it has come into a whole new level of ugly and could get uglier still. Okay. So what we got to know is this. Russia is really trying. They don't want to give up. Putin don't want to give up. Let me put it this way. Putin don't want to give up. Putin's, and I'll explain this before, Putin's life may depend on the outcome of this war. Because when you're the head man of a country like that, and autocracy, you're the head autocrat, you're survived by your toughness, by your hardness. That's why he always put up this machismo image. Well, he's a little short guy, really. This is why he rides horses bareback, and wrestles everybody and goes out and shoots everything under the sun. He's really working hard to portray that tough man image. And I'm sure that when he was playing karate with some guys, those guys had to fall. They weren't allowed to beat him, probably. So How do we cut a fuse? Peace sense talks. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Go into alert mode. Can't keep my eyes open. Oh, be careful. Eyes wide shut, huh? Be careful. You're not driving. Napoleon syndrome. Yeah, there's that. That may be our problem. Guys with Napoleon syndrome are the ones who go out and try to conquer the world, like Napoleon. You know, it's also known. Pardon this to all you guys who were challenged for height, but it's also called the short man syndrome or short man complex. You know, people sometimes try to compensate for things by being more macho, by being talking louder, different things. People will try to compensate for anything they perceive to be a shortcoming. It's just a human tendency. It's just the way it is. Not meant to disperse on anybody. Please give peace a chance, as Willie Fix. There you go. We do need to give peace a chance. Voice, no voice. The people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, there's actually some movement some places more toward a freedom vector. This is something I'm going to talk about more in the future. I'm hoping this is something we can pull on to make a difference for you guys. Now, what's happening in Russia right now is Putin is trying to save his skin. He's trying to save his regime as he sees it. And his worldview, that is Russia. That's the future. That's the existential piece of it. So when he talks about, what threat, the existential threat to Russia, it's really the existential threat to his government, because he, in his mind, equates his government to Russia, not the people, but his government, and more specifically himself in particular. And I've talked about this before, so I don't want to beat on it end on end. But he has, created this mobilization to pull up at least 300,000 new troops or old troops that are being refreshed. They're supposedly reservists that, spent maybe a year or 2 years in the Russian military after getting a little training, and then went out in the reserves. So he's calling these guys up, man. It's said that his call actually authorizes up to a million to be mobilized. I figure there's a reason I'm still awake, woke up with a foot cramp. Uh-oh, lady. So we're going to talk about what's going on in Russia and how it pertains to us and how we need to be prepared for this stuff and other stuff. I'm more worried about China still, guys. I'll be honest. But only for so many years. I mean, the problem is anytime a regime is looking at their limits of how far they can go, they know they got to get things done before they reach this point. If they think, well, if after this point, my country's going to fall apart, I'm having issues, they're going to try everything they can to secure as much as they can before that point. So maybe they push that out or survive it or get past it, or at least get what they want, their objectives accomplished before they reach the point that they can't do it anymore. Like a aging demographic, once you all your men are 60, 70, 80 years old, you're not going to have any more young cannon fodder. And the whole idea of cannon fodder is obscene anyway. To take our young kids and throw them into combat, in the meat grinder of combat for some political ambition. That's obscene. But that's what we've been doing in humanity for way too long. So we're going to talk, in the end, I'm going to talk about ways that we can get around this kind of stuff, things that we need to do. North Korea is a wild card. Yeah, North Korea is definitely a wild card. Somewhat the answer to China, but I don't think they do entirely. There's been some dust up, the apparent dust ups between North Korea and China to some degree, but still they're something of a client state of China, North Korea is. And some of that dust up stuff could be show. There's so much propaganda, so much show, so much deception out there. So here's what we know. Russia is sending tons of equipment to the borders of Ukraine, both in the north border, equipment and personnel, both to the north border and in the eastern side. And so they're once again working with Belarus and sending lots of troops up into Belarus and equipment. They're trying to get a lot of equipment into the Eastern Front as well. Although now their supply lines have been somewhat constrained, you might say, after the attack on the Kursk Strait Bridge, which was a major strategic asset of Russia that's been hit hard. Now, that made Russia mad, given that Russia started just flinging lots of missiles into Ukraine, including back at Kyiv again. So that really set it off. And apparently Putin said they're just going to keep doing that, just keep on doing it. Now, why are the spring and fall the shortest seasons of the year? Because they're the best. Time flies when you're having fun. That's what's going on, hon. Time flies when you're having fun, hon. Or as one spider said to another, well, much on a fly. Time's fun when you're having flies. That's my joke. All right, I got two more that goes with it. We'll talk about it. Zero last night. Wow, okay. So, Matterman. I'm having the Matterman. All right, so guys, here's the bottom line. The bottom line. So I'll tell you who's going to win the war in the end. You can bring the soldier to the fight, but what counts is when the soldier brings the fight to the fight. It's what's inside. The Russian soldiers, we're throwing tons of them over there, or Putin's throwing tons of them in. They're demoralized, and they don't have good equipment. I've seen I've seen videos where a whole company back there and maybe have 2 or 3 rifles between them all. Well, I've seen soldiers don't like that. You send them into combat and they only got 2 or 3 rifles, and they don't like that. And I know from personal experience because I was in a unit told I was, hey, Sierra Star, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Sierra Star. I was told I was going to have to go to Iran. All our stuff was packed up at Pope Air Force Base on the tarmac, ready to go. And we weren't allowed to leave base for 2 solid weeks. I lived off base. I had a wife and a boy off base, but I wasn't allowed to go home and see them because we were packed up and ready to go to Iran. I had a unit with 250 people. I had only 200 M16s assigned to my unit of 250 people. That was bad enough, but that wasn't the worst part. This is back in the days when Jimmy Carter was president, by the way. That wasn't the worst part. The worst part was out of the 200 M16s I had, only 40 would function. 160 M16 rifles would not fire at all. You pull the trigger, but no thing happened. No thing. You might maybe get 1 shot, but you ain't gonna get a repeat shot because the most common prevalent problems was missing one or the other of 2 very little itty bitty teeny weeny cheap a bucket would have cost you $5 back in full of parts. There was the extractor spring that pulled the casing out of the chamber once you pulled the trigger and fired it, and there was a thing called a ejector pin that it would push on the other side of that casing and flip it out. Well, these extractor springs, sometimes a lot of them was broke, missing. But the most common thing that was missing was that little spring that runs the ejector pin. If that little spring, it was just a tiny bitty spring. A bucket of them, I don't think it would have cost $5 back then. A 5-gallon bucket. You don't kick that round out. If you ain't pulling that round out of the chamber and kicking it out, you ain't firing. You in trouble. You got a stick instead of a rifle. You don't want to go into combat like that, my friends. You do not want to take that stuff in with you to combat. And when you got a unit of 250 people and across them, and I'm talking United States Army unit, you only got 40 functioning M16s, and you're being told you're going to combat? No, that was very wrong, very wrong. And what happened? They actually sent the Delta Force. So the Delta Force wasn't supposed to have been the best Army had. Joint Forces, Army, it was Army, Air Force, Marines. And what happened? Navy was all involved in it. Their communications were bad. And what happened? They hit it. Their stuff was falling apart because they didn't have spare parts. The equipment was literally that they sent into Iran was falling apart right there on the ground when they landed. It was a fiasco. What do you expect with a clueless president? Jimmy Carter was a weak, clueless president. Yeah, he was a micromanager. He was the guy stayed up all night working stuff to nth detail, but he didn't know how to delegate anything or take input from other people. He didn't know how to be an organizer. And, he was actually technically a genius. He had been the commander of a nuclear submarine, but he was missing a few screws in terms of management, organization, and focus, and he was weak. He was weak. That's why the Iranians took the hostages while he was president. When you got a weak president, other little tin horn countries are going to kick you around every time. When Ronald Reagan was getting sworn in, the Iranians was doing everything they could to get hostages out of the country as fast as get out of here. Let's get these guys on the plane. We got to get them out of here right now. Ronald Reagan's going to kick our mms. And he would have. I mean, come on, guys. Trump, would the world be doing the stuff it's in today if he were still in the White House? I just asked. What do you think? You tell me. Some of you, think Biden's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Hey, Billy, how you doing? Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, we're getting some super chats, and I appreciate it. That really makes me feel good because Sierra Star and Billy, because when you do these live sessions, I'm not getting any advertising revenue, so that helps offset that. And I've put some time in these. It would go long, so that helps a lot, guys. That really does. I appreciate it. Now, all right. So Russia's sending junk into combat. I've seen the videos. If you go to Lee Wolbarger's channels, he'll show you these trains going by, just loaded up equipment. If you're way back, it looks really impressive. Oh my gosh, how could anybody withstand that? Look at all this equipment they're sending to the front lines. Look at all this equipment going to combat. Just train car after train car pass by. But when you look at them up close, you see that the tanks are missing running wheels, gear, that we see the back door off of armored vehicles missing. You see gearboxes leaking oil. And I said on the video sometime back that Russia only had 3,000, they were quoted for having 24,000 tanks. Russia's got 24,000 tanks. The Ukrainians only got 2,000 tanks, which is more than the rest of Europe, by the way. Ukrainian army had more than the rest of Europe from the get-go. So, but the thing is, Russia only had 3,000 good tanks. They had some in maintenance that could be fixed up. About another 3,000 that had various states of disrepair, which were actually fixable. So theoretically, to get up, back up to par. And then they had a bunch of total junkers in the junkyard that they were counting. I mean, these were nothing. They were totally dilapidated, worse than our boneyard in the Arizona desert of aircraft. I mean, they were rusted out hulks of junk. So really, Russia only had about 6,000 to pull from. Well, that's what they're getting now. They're getting that remaining 3,000 and putting them out there, and they're in a great state of disrepair. Another thing that Lee had pointed out on his channel was those tracks are narrow. I looked at it and I said, wow, how you been running around the mud and you got little tracks on your vehicles like that? It ought to be like this. You should have some serious tracks on these vehicles. No wonder they're getting stuck and can't operate. So these guys are going to combat with junk. That puts the morale down. That helps influence the morale to be, ooh. So Russian troops are not being trained enough. They're not being equipped well enough. Now they're throwing a lot of stuff out there, but if you throw enough stuff at something, it might, that's how Russia's won, purely by attrition. Russia's been the big bully because they've been bigger than most of the guys they've went after in the past. It turns out that Ukraine's been getting ready for this for some time, and with the Western support, whether you like them or not, they are more prepared than you might think. We have two parties in the Russian Federation, the Vladimir Putin party and the Farewell party. Well, demographically, Russia's in trouble. Demographically, Russia's population is aging fast. They're on a limited fuse to make all this stuff happen. And you got the same problem in China. And it's kind of like the Bible. In Revelations, the devil gets thrown down the time, and he's desperate because he knows this time his days are short. Remember that? Because his days are short. Putin's days are short. Xi Jinping's days are short. The devil went down to Georgia looking for a soul to steal. He was behind because he was behind. He's ready to make a deal. See? Even made it into some really good music. The whole perspective. His days were short. Well, these guys got short days too. That makes them more desperate, unfortunately, to do things they might not otherwise would do. So they got in their heads in Russia that they really had to put their defenses out there and give depth for people to come in Moscow, because they were so convinced that our lily-livered friends over in Europe were going to invade, but just burning in their hearts to invade Moscow. Germans, French, what? You got to be kidding me. Most of the Europeans are so consumed with self-loathing and whatever over the what was happening 60 and 70 years ago with the Nazis, that they hadn't got over that. They're not anywhere near any kind of force that would want to be invading anybody, and that's not a bad thing. And they need to be able to defend themselves. Unfortunately, they're relying on us to defend them. So I got an issue with that. You got a huge economy in Europe with a bigger population, and we spend our boys, our treasure, our money, our blood over there to defend those guys. Are they worth it, really? Is it really worth it? Why are we defending those guys? I really got to wonder. So this is a risk. But anyway, so what it all boils down to is this: if the Russian people want to win the war, they'll do it. If it's in their hearts, they'll do it because they've got enough stuff that they could win by attrition. Although the Ukrainians are not a slouch, they're mobilizing almost everybody and everything, and they're getting some significant support from your pocketbook. A lot of support from your pocketbook. I hear they're hiring a lot of mercenaries too. So coming out of your pocketbook, I don't know what you think about that. You are supporting whether you love them or hate them, whether you want to kiss and hug Putin or Zelensky. Doesn't matter really, because you're paying for Zelensky's army. So whether you realize it or not, that's just what's happening. GG thinking about being your neighbor in Arizona. Hey, Phil. Very good. That's not Phil, it's P-I-L, right? Okay. Pilgrim. Oh, yeah, Pilgrim. Got it. Pilgrim. Hey, howdy, Pilgrim. All right. So, yeah, I need a pilgrim for my neighbor. So, somebody said that Ukraine already lost and now Putin is fighting NATO. All right, see, I'm hearing both sides. Yeah. Ukraine's over and Russians are going to roll through NATO just anytime. The other side is saying, oh, the Russians have been beat. There's nothing they can do to win now. I've seen, some brigadier general supposedly. I've seen tons of articles. I'm not sharing these articles with y'all tonight because I've just gone through dozens and dozens of them, and there are all the experts. I know what's happening, except what he says is absolutely the opposite of what this guy says. There's no agreement. So time will tell. What I'm saying here is what's going to be the determinant factor is what's in the hearts of the Russian people, not Ukraine. Ukraine's got the heart to at least defend themselves, but Russia, if they decide they want to take it, they've got more manpower and materials overall in the long run. They may be behind now, but they would win if they really, really, really wanted to. I don't know if they really, really want to. For one, it's kind of like the United States going to Vietnam. If the American Army really want, I didn't say the leadership, if the soldiers in the American Army, if the people of America really wanted to beat Vietnam, they could have done it. It could have been done. If they didn't want to beat North Vietnam more than North Vietnam wanted to beat us and South Vietnam. And that's the bottom line. Who had to fight? It wasn't taking soldiers to fight, but the fight is in the soldier. And our boys were saying, why in the heck are we over here fighting this war for these people? What are we doing here? Why are we in this? And we sent a lot of really young kids over there, and they became just into the meat grinder. For what? For what? Where's evil? You got to defend yourself. And Lee Woodbugger, I think Russia doesn't have what they say they have. Yeah, Ray, I was talking about your videos of the trains of all the junk going in. So, and my point is, what's the determining factor is what's in the heart of the soldiers on each side. The definitely Ukrainians, they're defending their homeland. And what my point was, if Russia had really had it in their hearts, they've got the manpower and materials and a bigger economy, bigger country. But I think that I don't think they got it in their hearts enough to win. I think that's the difference. That's where I really think it goes to. But unfortunately, here's what you got to worry about longer, is that Putin is looking at everything he's throwing in. Remember what he's throwing in? He's looking at losses. Those in tons of missiles. They've been attacking Ukraine with missiles like crazy past couple of days, but Ukrainian forces are still taking ground in spite of those big missile attacks. In fact, it makes the Ukrainians madder, makes them want to fight harder. Russians have no training. That's true. Very little. Week, 2 days, day. Yeah, I mentioned that before you got in here, Lee. Yeah, that's no good. No equipment, no training. Driving over landmines in the road. Yeah, that ain't. Yeah, that's prescription for catastrophe. Yeah, it's like Russia is just taking every bad thing they did and upping it many times. So they're going to have a big cluster over there. That's what it looks like. I think the risk though is, hey Nicole, how you doing? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. With the with Putin, Putin's life depends on winning this war, and it's not going in his favor right now. That's why I think he may be, he's desperate. He's cornered. He's like a cornered animal. If he could launch tactical nukes, if he gets down to it, I don't think you get to his level without being a power like that without being a sociopath. You don't have the empathy that us normal humans have. So you can't assign to him the kind of logic that you or I would bring to the table. Because you don't reach his level of power. Xi Jinping didn't reach his level of power. Kim Jong-un did not reach his level of power. And the kind of systems are in by being empathetic people. You don't get there. You don't hold that power unless you are a sociopath, which means you're dangerous. If they could pull the trigger and launch the bombs, they would. The saving grace for us is that they're not the ones personally pulling the trigger. They can give the command, they can push a red button, but there's somebody else out there somewhere who's got to do something. And that person, before they pull their trigger, is going to say, what am I unleashing? See, there's been a couple other times that Russians were actually commanded to launch. And it turned out it was actually twice. I knew originally once, but it was actually 2 times in the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Russian was supposed to launch a nuke on us. Once, was the one that all we've heard about is the torpedo. I think there was a couple of torpedo incidents. The torpedo that was supposed to be launched on us, a nuclear torpedo. And the guy refused to follow the command to do so. Now, he was blacklisted for the rest of his life, but the whole world owes that guy gratitude. That guy, by saying no, kept us out of a nuclear war 60 years ago. The orcs are already killing each other in Russia. Yeah. Well, a lot of the Russian people, there's more people run out of Russia than he's trying to mobilize. See, that's where we come back to, it's not in the hearts of the people there. Just kind of like the United States, it wasn't the hearts of the people in the United States to fight in Vietnam. And one of the lessons that's supposed to come out of, the military thinkers and the war colleges is you don't commit to a war unless the people are behind it. And that was the lesson of Vietnam. The people weren't behind it. And we should do, okay, Lee, we need to do that. Such a slaughter and waste of young men. It is, Arnold, it is a waste of young men on all sides. It's good people, good and bad people in every country. Revelation says the world is going to be destroyed by fire. Well, greens. We don't know what's going to be the source of that fire, but if it's something we can prevent, as long as it's in our power, we need to do everything we can to prevent it from our knothole, to either prevent it or mitigate it, or be able to survive it in our little peace. Of course, Jesus said, had those days not been shortened, no life would have been spared. For whatever you think of that. Now, this is not a religious channel, so I do not want to be harping on these things too much. I'm tolerant of the thought, but we need to not let it get away with us here, because I just want to deal with the facts right now. But that's that's in the books, and I've read from the Bible in here and read some things, guys. And I did mention earlier too. So I'm in Arizona, thinking of moving to higher ground. Hey, well, Phil Graham, what part of Arizona you in? My part's 5,000 feet in elevation. So, and the folks in Phoenix got to go through 3 major mountain passes to get there, and the locals say they're not allowing anybody from Phoenix to come up. We're not debating the nature of Jesus there. G beats Macedonia. That's why I said this is not a religious channel. And see, a lot of people get bent out of shape when you do anything either way. I was just quoting this, what's in scriptures. I'm not up or down on it. Okay, guys. This is for the benefit of those that mind is set in that manner. A lot of people, they interpret everything in that manner, and I'm just painting the context. All right. So, you still with us, Lee? Gigi and Lee, always great to see them together. Yeah, Lee and I have good discussions. Tom, we remember the good days of his grace. What's your P's and Q's? There you go. The Lord will take care of the Lords, okay? But as long as we're here, we got missions to do, jobs to do, we're expected to do them. And, you know, that's why I throw sludge at the whole movement of the oval letter with a squiggly tail. Because that whole thing was all about, you ain't got to do nothing. We got it all taken care of. Don't worry your pretty little heads. We get, you know, pitch on it. We got it covered. Just don't worry your pretty little head. Go back to sleep, roll over. It's all taken care of. Now that is BS. That's a psyop to keep people from doing things they ought to be doing otherwise. It's a psyop, and it stinks. And a lot of my friends have bought into that junk. So we got jobs to do, and I'm gonna have. I've started, you know, I followed Lee over to Rumble, and I set up a little channel. I haven't put anything on it. It's another Green Gregs channel, but I think I'm gonna do a Swivel Head News over there. I've set up a Swivel Head News on YouTube. I just got it approved to be able to do videos that are more than 15 minutes or go live on it, but I've only got just a handful of subscribers. So mods, if one of y'all could share my Swivel Head News link, guys. Worms are fake, sir. Not quite. So let's see, place. What a snooker. We're getting snookered, I know that. All right, Willie Fix it. Good to see you. Get a good night's sleep. I'm not going to be on here long. I actually got to get back to my day job in a little bit. I got some other video work I want to do. I'll go to bed if possible. But I am setting up other channels. I'll look for you on Rumble, says Matterman. Good. I got Green Gregs on Rumble, and I think I'm going to put a couple other things over there. Because I think this kind of topic needs to be a special channel. And I do want to go on Rumble because I got some things to say that I just can't say on this platform. So I'm roll up the sleeves and kind of stuff. There's some things that need to be said. I just can't say here. Not Frida's duck and cover. Duck and cover. All right. So, you know, this platform is highly controlled. Old Hillbilly. Now, there's a great title. What's up from Eastern Kentucky? Good to see you. All right, Lee. Good to see you here. Warmongers will make a lot of money. Yeah, they do. They do. I believe in defense. You got to defend yourself. You got to defend your family. I got the means, you know, I believe a nation's got to do that. A nation's got to protect its border as part of your defense. It's like your immune system. Your immune system starts at your skin, not the fact you got little cells running through your blood system. It's going to take care of the bad stuff that gets in you. They'll be overwhelmed if the skin's broken. Well, having a broken skin on the national level is a border. It's not contained. You let anybody go on your border, you have no skin as a nation. You're wide open. You got to watch your borders. I mean, maybe you need workers to come in. We do. But you got to screen the people coming across that border. We don't know who's coming in this country or what they're up to. It's how we get all the drugs, how we get all the criminals, the gangs, the cartels coming in the States. You get terrorists coming up. I mean, people coming. I was told by a guy in one of the Secure the Grid teleconferences I support that there's 150 different nationalities they have found crossing our southern border. I mean, people that are not from Central, South America, and then the direction south. I mean, coming from around the world, from all countries and countries that hate us. We got a lot of people coming in. Uncontrolled, uncontained. Just come on in, because some of y'all might vote the way we want you to. Just come on in. Come on in, folks. All y'all the better. And there's more to it than that. But, you know, there's only so much I can say on this platform, guys. There's only so much I can say. Hans Hammond says, eventually, Will Barger said he would like you to do a show. Yeah. Sir, I was not sure if you saw that. I did. I saw that. Yeah, it's about time Lee and I do a show. It's been a while. Greg A for president. Ooh, Ace Lee. Man. Ozzy Osbourne was right all along. We're pigs, huh? Dun. Yeah, war pigs. Dun, 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 dun. All right, my back hurts. All right, so let's see what else is here. Yeah, Lee and I did this show. It's been a long time. 101st. 101. It's 100. 1-on-1, pat you on my shoulder, dear. Pick up your weapon and follow me. I am the infantry. 101st, yeah. Pat you on my shoulder. It's been a while since. It's been 40 years since I sang that song. Give me a break. 101st, pat you on my shoulder, dear. My dad was airborne in World War II. Mickey Snook, Greg, have you seen the latest attack on the Border Patrol on horseback with establishments accused of horsewhipping migrants? Yeah, that's happened before. That's happened before. Country Boy Will Survive. That's right. Country Boy Will Survive. That's one of my favorite songs. Stock market's up, interest rates up, and the stock market's down, and you only get mugged when you go downtown. And that's true today. Oh, yeah, the Mississippi River, she's running dry right now. And boy, we're in the times of Country Boy Will Survive. But you got to remember that Country Boy Will Survive. I have a PDF and a rabbit wormhole. All right, greens, that's good. Sorry about deleting you earlier. Man, sorry about that, guy. I'll submit if top of U.S. brass would just send 2 B-2s and take out Russian power grid, it wouldn't take that. Just one missile with a super EMP weapon, but we don't have the super EMP weapons. The Russians developed them. Well, we could, but we've not done it. My granddad, he's still alive, turns 88 years old. Halloween took on the beaches of Normandy, still cuts his own grass. All right, very good there, very good. Well, sometimes you can't find a channel that don't have content. I have trouble finding some of my own channels. So I got more than one channel here on YouTube. And I can be in one channel hunting the other and looking searching them, show because there's a bunch of other stuff out there. When I start posting content, I'll put links here on Green Gregs and let you know there's some of our. We don't brag, sir, says trying it. Okay. Hey, how about Fort Bragg? Still Fort Bragg, me. Still Fort Bragg. Okay, I'm calling tonight. My day started at 5 a.m. with a man down medical call. Well, very good, Lee. Appreciate you, sir. It's called Swivelhead News. That's my other channel on here. And I also have a Swivelhead website. I bought it, Mountain Boy. What? All right, Chewy, what in the world did you? I didn't get to read what Matterman was saying there. Something about Mountain Boy. Or2, cha-cha. All right, good night, cha-cha. I'm going to look at some other stuff here real quick. But what I'm saying is, Putin's still dangerous. Even without, if his army's falling apart, he's still got missiles. He's launching missiles like crazy. I mean, you don't have to send a troop in the field to launch a missile into the field. You can only do so many, though. Bragg is my second home. Yeah, I'm always going to call it Fort Bragg. Fort Gordon's Fort Gordon, right, Lee? You going to call him anything else? Fort Bragg's Fort Bragg forever in my book. Fort Lee's Fort Lee. Fort Hood's Fort Hood. I ain't ever going to call him anything different. He's woke's a joke. You know, it's like they tore down our historical building at the Marshall Space Flight Center. They're tearing it down, the 4200 building where von Braun was running the headquarters. We used to have a statue of him after they took it and hid it. They hid von Braun's statue. All just before we launched the moon again. Survival Tribe Network. There you go. Don't you check? Did you get it wrong? It's survivaltribenetwork.org, I believe. Gordon. There you go. Fort Gordon. You spent some time at Gordon, didn't you? Gordon's the Intel Center, Electronics Center. Now, my older brother used to work at Fort McClellan. He was very involved in working out and developing that future combat systems. Fort Meade. Okay. Yeah, Fort Meade. I can believe that. HR 192. Okay, what is that bill? Oh, HR. Oh, sorry, not HR. It's HJR. All right. I'm grateful for my brother was in the Gulf and I served EOFOF. I'll fight to make sure my kids don't get drafted. Yeah, I hear you. I saw my, wait a minute, whoa. My dad saw Patton cuss someone out. He thought it was funny. My dad loved Patton. My dad was in the Army in World War II. And he said the soldiers in the Army loved Patton. And he was always angry because he didn't like Ike, really, because he said Ike and the higher level brass held Patton back. They knew it back then. You know, that's what showed in the movie on George Patton. You know, they kept his gas from him. That happened. You know, they held him back so Monty, the Brits would have a chance to get a few wins under their belt. Patton was just ready to take them on and get the war done. So we need to send you a feather for your hat. Called it macaroni. Lincoln, Tennessee. Sounds like the U.S. has been interfering with Haiti elections. It wouldn't surprise me. We've been in too many things. My granddaddy. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, guys. Look at Patton. Go back with the old photographs of Patton. Look at the stare in his eyes. His facial expressions. Look at his manners, his personality style. And go look at Trump. He got a whole lot in common. And Trump was born. The computer's reset. What's going on? Man, my computer's trying to reset on me. I thought I was about to lose me. I was about to be gone. What's going on? Guys, we may lose this video. What's happening? My computer was just flashing in and out. Surprised I'm still alive. Holy smoke. There is something uncanny about Patton and Trump. There's some, wow. It's like, almost like Trump got some of that Patton spirit in him. I don't believe in reincarnation, but there's something really interesting there. It was whacked. Well, I'll tell you what, you didn't, hey, if you were on the enemy side, you didn't want to be facing down Patton. I'm gonna tell you that. You did not want to be facing down Patton. David, reborn many times. Well, that may be there, Ellen. Maybe that's what it is. King David, reborn as Patton, reborn as Trump. Is that what it is? They took Patton out. Yeah. He was stated to leave. They didn't like where he was coming from, that's for sure. They did not like where he was coming from. Patton was a leader of men, not. Yeah, no soy boys. No, they weren't no darn soy boys in the Army back in those days. Look, back in those days, men were tough. I mean, guys would be just walking down the road together, you know, hand in hand almost, and they'd just have a fight, just to have a fight. And 2 minutes later, they'd get up and dust off and be buddy again and going down the road. And that's just what it was. I mean, look at if you watch the old TV shows and old movies, old Westerns, people fighting all the time. Well, that's kind of how it was. Guys fought. That's what they did. Nowadays, oh, you touched me. Oh, you touched me. Ow. Don't touch me. You know, we've got a what is a stress cards in basic training now? You know, somebody can throw a stress card at a drill sergeant and they can't touch them. Man, the whole point of basic training is get yelled at. You should be yelled at and put through the ringer. I mean, it's a force that everybody needs in life to make them tough, to harden them off. You know, I'll go on that more in the future. All right, madam. Yeah. You know, well, see, one of the things I think they're trying to drive our army to the woke side, because a red-blooded army they couldn't turn it against the red-blooded Americans. But a woke army, probably. But the good thing is they wouldn't get far. They're not going to go far. You know, and again, it goes back, you know, you can bring a soldier to the fight, but what counts is the fight that's in the soldiers, what I said earlier. That's what counts. So I don't believe a bunch of city slickers are going to beat a bunch of old country boys. Country boy will survive. Country boy can survive. Yeah. Can't make us run. An old boy got his own shotgun. We say grace. We say amen. And if you ain't into that, we don't give them. Old West, it was a gunfight on the main Pistols at dawn. Yeah. Well, don't bring me back. I'll need it out. So recruiting is low. Yeah, nobody wants to join that army. Not the real guy, not the men. No, man, the real men ain't joining that army. They don't want to be part of it because one, they get told they got to take that junk in the arm. They got to take the, the sleevers. Yeah, I got one of those things right here somewhere. Where? There it is. Yeah, they ain't want none of this. They're going to be told they got to have it. A lot of them are getting out because of it. SOB. Really? Hans don't like you? Or Hans does like you. I mean, you soldier will, yeah. Our soldiers we got here, I don't know, guys, or some of these guys we're bringing in are, and maybe that's another piece of it too. Maybe we're just being set up to be taken, or maybe we're depleting our supplies for that reason. So I don't know, guys. So let me show you a couple of things. We're going to look over some stuff here in a minute. But old Hillbilly says, my granddaddy always said you might not walk, but you have to stand up. Yeah, a man was expected to stand up to a fight, not run. You ran, you were dog. Food the streets in the town of New Haven. Anyway, Ellen's story, if they do a draft, they will draft everyone. Yeah, see, that's awful. They leave women out of it. They really do. That's awful. Yeah, and no, I hear you. I'm glad I served before they had that stupid stress card too. Because back when I was in, a drill sergeant could haul off and slug you if you wanted to. They can knock your lights out. But there's one time you had a chance to get them back. When you are getting trained by me. Oh, I got it. Gotcha. Good. Gotcha. No cakewalk. We don't need a cakewalk for the troops. They need to be kicked. They need to be told what a maggot they are, and they need to be hardened off. It's like you take a plant out of a greenhouse and put it in the garden. It's going to die because it's not been toughened up, because it's been in an environment with no wind, no direct sunlight. So you take a plant and you introduce it like under I put my plants on a camper shell under a shade tree. So they're not immediately in the full force of the wind and the sun. So they get introduced to it gradually. And then you put them in a garden. That's called, gardeners call that hardening off. Well, that's what basic training is, taking the kids from the mama and harden them off before you put them in the real world where they may have to go into combat. How do you take somebody and put them into combat where they might become a prisoner of war and they have no conditioning to tough them up? Because if you become a prisoner of war, you're going to be put through a ringer. And if you cave real fast, oh, the boys are over there, just sending somebody, twisted your finger a little bit. Oh, don't hurt me. I'll tell you where all the other guys are. You can go over and attack them if you just don't twist my finger. The heck with that. So that's why they need to be hardened off. They need to be able to stand up to it. If they can't stand up to it, they don't need to be in the military. You got to be able to take it. You got to be able to take it. You got to be able to I guess they say everybody's got a breaking point, but that threshold should be extremely high. Something that the enemy ain't going to find. At least you hope they ain't going to find it. I train special people for special things. There you go. So we don't need these weak little whatevers. But that's why, another thing, if we have a war that's not too civil, and I hope we don't, because that would be a big catastrophe in this country. I mean, if you go back to the last one, it was more Americans. It took years. It took, a couple of 100 years for wars to start reaching the level of annihilation that we had in that war. It was a very, people don't realize how bad that was. But again, I want to say, you got to defend yourself. So if these little soy boys think they're going to come out and take over a bunch of country boys and run us off, I think they're going to find another thing. I think they'll look worse than the Ruskies. I don't care what kind of equipment they got. Like Biden says, well, you ain't got an F-15 when somebody talked about the right to bear nugs. You know what I mean? Well, you ain't got an F-15. How can you blah blah blah? I'm gonna tell you something. You go back and you look at the Vietnamese, you know, they brought the fight to the soldier. Soldier brought the fight to the war. I mean, if you're fighting asymmetrical warfare and you're able to blend in and out of the population, and the other guys are totally dependent on distributed systems, infrastructure, like the city boys are, and you're the producers of the food, you're the producer of all the raw materials, who's going to win? How does the city boy think his army is going to sustain itself if they're requiring all this infrastructure to support them? Oh yeah, all those big weapon systems do take infrastructure. Guys, they ain't gonna win. Country boy can survive. Put that in the bank. A country boy can survive and will win if we're pushed. Let's hope it don't ever come to that. I am not calling for that. I'm calling for peace and reason and thinking and trying to stay out of craziness like that, because that's a very awful thing. It's very bad. You don't want to go there. But you got to defend yourselves. You got to defend yourselves. Hillbillies, rednecks, mountain folks, country boys will show them. There you go. That's right. J Mac, if I'm trying to kill you and you stop me, did you murder me? Or is murder? Yeah, that's one way to look at it. That's true. That's all Russia is. Most of them Slavic people ain't. Well, you got Slavics against Slavics over between Ukraine and Russia. Yeah, well, yeah, there's a lot of country boys there in Ukraine are hauling off Russian tanks left and right. They got some good farm equipment. As Lee pointed out, the biggest supplier right now of Ukraine, the biggest arms supplier to Ukraine is Russia. I mean, not just tanks. I mean, we're talking artillery rounds, all kinds of stuff. War is the physical extension of intellectual philosophy between good and evil. Bingo. Bingo. But you know, so much propaganda, most people have a hard time seeing what's good and what's evil. That's a problem. Oregon. Hey, good to see you, Broken Fish. Man, Oregon must be a tough place to live. Hey, I used to, there's a girl up there named Melissa Thompson. Find her for me. She used to buy my arms all the time. Patrick. Belmar. Oh yeah, food bar. War is a racket. Yeah, it's played that way. Over 6 million hunting licenses in the U.S. Yeah, it's too bad they're not more. Yep. Lee was in Ukraine. He was there. He's seen it, been there. The wokeness in the military goes back over 45 years. I was barred from entering at 17. I stole my dad's car and ran away at 13. Oh my God. My back hurts. No wonder your back hurts. I was in 79. We had a kid that was 17 years old that joined. But he was from Mobile. He made a mistake of using a racist term against one of the black guys from York. Man, he got the crap beat out of him. He was a little too young to be facing up against some of these other big guys. But I've seen young guys go in the military. If you go back to the war between the states, the South was getting decimated by attrition. I mean, we brought the fight to the war, but we just didn't have the manpower and the materials to keep it going for a long time. The South was winning at first, but we were treated more and more and more over time. And toward the end of the war, you had 13-year-old boys and 60-year-old men side by side in the trenches. Yeah, it's not a pretty situation. Valerie Moore, I was in Japan in Sawa Air Force Base, Vietnam War. Really? Wow, Valerie. So how did you want to be in there then, Valerie? She always wanted to go to Ukraine. I saw it as a peaceful place full of wildlife. Okay. Well, you know, there's a lot of beautiful forest and mountains in Europe. There are. Martha's Vineyard. I'm grateful peasant. My street is all Vietnam vets and a couple of guys like me. Oops. They may be old, but they can still set up an ambush. And yeah, there you go. Anton, I hate that word too. I do not go with racism. I do not go with racism. I've got, my youngest is mixed race, my youngest child. So if you're a racist, get out of my channel. Get out of here. Leave. Leave fast. This Nordic white boy will whip your. Yeah, I'm Nordic as they come too, buddy. And I'm white as a sheet of paper, but I do not like racism. I got no room for it. No room for it. So let's see here. Got him on. My dad was in the Air Force. We were stationed there. I was a candy striper in the hospital, men's ward on base. Oh, okay. Who Billy is on vacay in Tennessee for my BD and found out I shoot better than I throw an X. Yeah, I can throw an X. Oh, genetic. Or maybe it's my reincarnation from way back. Anti-nukes, that's 3 mile aisle. Yeah, 3 mile aisle. Okay. I worry about those. We got to do something on those spent fuel rod pools, guys. That fuel needs to be processed. That's one reason I did do a video talking about using the fast neutron reactors. Something that eats that stuff up. We got to get rid of that junk. I was 5 when we went to the woods on my first snipe hunt. Uh-oh. Oops. Sorry to hear about that shot. You got left in the when it's 5-year-old holding the bag. Oh my gosh. You know what a snipe hunt was then. Not too many people know what that is anymore. If you don't mind telling me there, Charlotte, how old are you? I don't think people talk about snipe hunting anymore. I engage target says literally. There you go. Everyone in my family in the military going back 240 years. Yeah, well, I've had family in every single war America's fought. Every single war, at least since the Revolutionary, probably French and Indian War. Women scare you. I resemble that remark there. My back hurts. Yeah, women, they're the scariest thing in the world. They may say it, Anton, but you know, let them have it. Leave it to them. Leave it to them. They consider it offensive if anybody else says it. So it's just their thing. Just let it go. Just let it go. Oh yeah, you got to kill. It's self-defense. And you know, a nation's got to defend itself, and a person should defend themselves and their families. And there are times when you're living under so much oppression, you just got to throw the tyranny off. And that will require war from time to time. Humanity should never live under oppression because that's where it leads. It leads to death. It leads to such utter misery. People in our society don't know what it is. Yeah, Lee, I get that. So you cannot live under tyranny. Tyranny, see, and that's where China's at. Total tyranny. Hey, Valerie Moore, thank you. Appreciate that. China is under total tyranny. Uday's not in the house. I haven't seen Uday's in here a while. There she is. There she is. Women scare you. Yeah, especially the redhead ones. Yeah, women are the most dangerous thing in the universe. Telling a story. It's a good thing to be scared of and respectful of women. There you go. You never know what kind of skills they might have. Yeah, that's no kidding. They don't know what kind of skills they have until they try something. Yeah, that's what's scary, Ellen. Women can't live with them, can't live without them. Yeah, that's the dilemma, BLM. That's the dilemma right there. Or is kill or be killed. That is the name of the game. That's what it's about in warfare. That's when you know, supposedly Patton said, you don't win by dying for your country. You win by making that other dumb die for his country. Especially redheads. Although you're a funny one, Greg. I thought I'd get a laugh out of you with that. She's a redhead, by the way. So I'm picking at her. She knows it. Yeah, Patton quote. There you go, hounds. So awesome selection. Let's see what. Okay, who better? All right, let's look at some stuff here, guys. C103, Grateful Peasant. Oh, that's your name. How about C130? C130 running down the strip. Airborne daddy gonna take a little trip. Stand up, hook up, shuffle to the door. I jump right out and count to 4. If my chute don't open wide, I got another one by my side. If that one should fail me too, I'm gonna come in through. Yeah. Not self-defense if we go to foreign land. It depends. It depends. Usually it's not, but it can be. We fought a lot of wars we shouldn't have been in. Penn was my hero. There you go. I got a reserve by my side. There you go, hounds. Sarah Star. All right, guys. So let's do some page sharing here real quick. Let's go through some stuff in this video. Look out, ground. I'm coming through. Oh yeah, we didn't say ground. That's a better alternative. Got ground. Okay. Let's move your Except we didn't say either. Trying to be polite here, but that's not the way you do it as a soldier. Machine gunner and a parachute can shoot a group, but a person cannot shoot at a parachuter. Yeah, they do it though. Full spectrum dominance project for a new American century. Stormin' Norman, there you go. Yeah, he was a man's man. All right, guys, let's share some things here. Let's get into some other stuff because we've been just kind of banting around here, just having a little fun. It might be good amongst us long-term followers of the channel, but the guys who don't normally go into chat sessions, that's a different crowd. Some of them don't like this stuff. So let's get into some content. Yeah, we're going to be sharing our normal content anyway. I might not even like that. Let's see here. Oh, I got something here. I need to share this with Stacy's Vicky. I wish she was in the house. But I need to see if has anybody seen this article or know anything about this topic? Does anybody know anything about this topic? Anybody vouch for or against this? I mean, this is a huge claim. It's kind of hard to swallow. Why would farmers be out doing this to their cattle if it takes this? According to this article, it offs like half of them. Who in the world would do that? Norman's wife went to school with my dad. Oh, okay, cool. Drops no comment on redheads. All 4 or never worked out. Oh. Well, thank you for sharing my worm farm site there, New Days. Yeah, if you need worms, and you might need worms, guys, with everything going down, there's a lot more stuff that might get us than this. The biggest threat we got is China right now. China in the sun. And just things like that, guys. There's plenty, and our economy is on loose ground, or maybe their biggest threat really is the guys inside the beltway. You got a lot of reasons to prep, guys. A lot of reasons to prep. So thanks much, Greg, and all the mods. Be safe. Good night there, Deep Function 100,000 -1. Unknown vector T-72 coming over the hill, round down range. Got an armor kill. There you go. Drops no comment on redheads. Oh, I was picking on you, Dave. She knows it. She's funny. She knew it. Toxic cows. It's a tank. Yeah, T-72. That's right. I don't know, guys. What do y'all think about this? I saw this article. It says Truth 11. Well, don't mean there's any truth to it. I haven't checked the site out, so I don't know. It's just kind of hard for me to believe that farmers be doing this to their cattle. Most farmers are not in the woke. I better not be scrolling down article. That's getting me in trouble. They're not woke. T-72 is a Russian tank built in 1972. Yeah, that and older stuff too. They're pulling stuff out of the junkyard. Lee, what you missed is I said they were pulling stuff out of the junkyard. I said Russia only had the best 3,000 tanks to begin this war that were in good functional shape. About another 3,000 that were in maintenance repair sheds, you know, or the maintenance yards, various degrees of under repair. Then the rest of it's just pure junk in the junkyard. I think they're pulling that repair shed stuff out right now. All right, guys. Here's an article Leah'd be in stitches over. Flooded electric vehicles spontaneously catch on fire in Florida after a hurricane. Well, no duh. If you put that battery pack underwater, it will, because what happens is you short the terminals out. When you short the terminals out, they suddenly discharge a lot of current, in which they overheat. And when lithium-ion batteries overheat, they go into thermal runaway. When they go into thermal runaway, they catch fire. It doesn't matter if they're underwater. They still got enough oxygen. There's enough oxygen in the oxidized metal in the cathodes of a lithium-ion battery to consume and burn 15% of the electrolyte inside the cell, which means a lithium-ion battery is a bomb. Or if it blows one end off, it becomes a rocket motor or a flamethrower, and they produce voluminous, high-temperature gas. So if you got them close inside of a tight box, they will blow the box up and shoot fire and toxic chemicals out. So they put out toxic chemicals and fire. And all it takes, when you're charging and discharging those things, if you don't charge and discharge them right, the minerals inside can form what's called dendrites, or like little tiny stalactites and stalagmites that form chemically inside the electrolyte of the lithium-ion battery. And see, unfortunately, there's this little separator between the positive and negative anodes. The positive and negative anodes are really, these are sheets that are rolled into a roll. And you think of them as plates or ends like a typical battery, but they do them in sheets. And so all you got is just a little insulator in the middle of the electrolyte between the anode and cathode. And that separator, when it gets punctured, allows a short circuit to form between the anode and cathode, which allows a lot of current to go through. And then when all that current is going through all at once, it's discharging. It causes the battery to heat up and explode. And, oh yeah, these batteries can go bad just sitting on the shelf. They can one of these batteries, you can put one on your mantle and never touch it, brand new, and one day it could go poof. Yeah. That's how great. I need to grab some rack time. There you go. Get some rack time. Yeah, me too. They radically disassemble. You're right, Inventor Lee Wilberger. They sure do. But I'm here to tell you that there's enough oxygen in the metal oxide in the cathode to consume 15% of the electrolyte in a lithium ion battery, and it will go boom. I wrote review out on the script that sees spanking a bunch of other so-called rocket scientists for really screwing up with their use of lithium-ion batteries in our rocket. There were crews of 40 people running and stepping and fetching like their ass was on fire and their hair was a catching. What song did that come from? Think about that one. There's your quiz for tonight. What song did that come from? That's a quote from a song, but they were really 2 years in a tizzy over some of the stuff I was wrapping them up in because they weren't paying attention. They wrote a bunch of dumb stuff. Like they had on the secondary payloads on the SLS, they had a secondary payload deployer electronics box, and it had lithium-ion batteries in it. And their controls were to keep them going thermal runaway. Well, it's purged with nitrogen, and it's an enclosed box. It's airtight, hermetically sealed. I said, you're wrong on both fronts. one, it don't care what you got in there chemical wise like that. It's going to burn from electrodes and two, your box is going to explode. It's going to blow up because it's going to over pressurize. The proper way to deal with these batteries is to there's several features inside the battery. I won't go all into that now, that you can put in there for safety features. There are little shunts and different things you put on them too, between them. There's different ways you can deal with these batteries to keep them. There's fusible links and things like that to keep them from going into thermal runaway and to keep the failures from propagating from battery to battery. And it also includes how you package them and various other things. Yeah, and Bowen came up with something they called heat absorbable material. So when the battery cooks, it burns up. It's going to burn the heat absorbable material. It's going to burn the ham. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, so they had ham for controlling their batteries. At least that was better than what these other guys was doing. But anyway, so uneasy rider. Bingo, Captain Trips. You got it. You got it. All right. Pot still okay, David. Potter. That's right. Uneasy rider. Kick your green teeth in the shin. In Atlanta. Oh, you see here? The Dreamliner had the same problem. Yeah. Yeah. So these batteries are a real problem. And a lot of people just don't appreciate what they're dealing with. You know, well, we got them cell phones everywhere, but when you start really looking at the reliability rates and you're building battery packs with thousands and thousands of these things, oh my God. Oh my God. And you put them on a rocket that just shakes like this. And you're going into space with all the temperature variables and everything that happens in space with these batteries. I'm not a happy camper some of the stuff they're doing with those things. Lithium oxide stored between graphite sheets. Now, they are working on solid state versions of these, and they're working on some other alternatives that should be a lot safer. And the inventor of the lithium ion battery is an old man, damn near 100 years old. His name is Goodenough. I kid you not. And he's working on an alternative, safer alternative, and a lithium solid state battery, not lithium ion, but a lithium solid state battery, which they believe will be a lot safer. The problem is making it manufacturable. That's the big issue. They got concepts and designs for safer batteries. They actually hold more energy. Usually more energy put in something, the more risk you got with it. Stored energy is a hazard source. The more energy you store, the more potential hazard you have. It's like, you know, as you're putting a rock higher and higher in elevation, like you got a rock on a pole. The longer that pole, the higher the elevation that rock, the more stored energy it has. Unfortunately, when that rock falls off that pole, it's going to hit you harder the higher it is. That gives you an idea. Ask this to all the races. When the lights go out, what color am I? Dr. Goodenough. That's right. That's right. He lives in Austin, Texas. He's his new battery is, yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Goodenough. He's amazing. Yeah, it's a good thing we got guys like him out there. So, yeah. Lee, I figured that you would resonate with that article. I'm going, well, no duh. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I didn't have the picture. I should have found this article. Yeah, so Tesla's new e-truck has just hit the road, or it tried to. It couldn't get up the on-ramp, and it crapped out. Yeah, and now that, you know, California, they're having problems with the power grid. PayPal gives Americans an eerie glimpse into a totalitarian future. My friends, I think I'm gonna do a whole nother video talking about this. I did a video on PayPal. Liquid metal is a joke. There you go. Good, very good. So I did a video on this, guys, the other day. It really performed real poorly on my channel. A lot of people didn't like it, and I don't know why. But maybe we got some woke folks on my channel. Maybe. All right, guys, here's Wendy. Let's look at the weather real fast. Yeah, we got storms. The storms are here today. 40s all up here in the middle of the United States. 50s over here. 50 in Salt Lake. 40s down in here. Lee, you're still in Texas. You're near Dallas. 70 over there near Dallas. 75 near Houston. I got a daughter down there. Phoenix is 80, but Phoenix is always hot. Holbrook, 62. Show low, 50. Well, I'm between show low in Holbrook, my property out there. Snowflake. I'm east of Snowflake. 50 degrees. My address is a Snowflake address. Shiloh's a pretty town, by the way, guys. Here you're in a desert. Up here you're in the mountains with tall trees. Big difference. Big difference. The cool thing about this area is you don't have to go far to find vast differences. Painted desert, petrified forest, Grand Canyon, mountains through here. Way out in the middle of nowhere, and down here is a huge city. Yikes. But unfortunately for them, they got to cross through 3 major mountain passes to get up here in the local city. They ain't gonna let them come up. Nobody from Phoenix goes north when a peanut butter hits the fan. At least that's the thought. Let's see how that works out. All right, why am I not seeing weather? I'm seeing temperatures. Rain and thunder. Let me click on it. Yeah, she's not operating right tonight. Rain and thunder, but I'm not seeing it. We got a lot of rain around here. Well, I don't want to, I don't know. Wendy's not working right tonight. She ain't showing me the rain and thunder. So we'll see rain accumulation. Yeah, there's something wrong with Wendy. She's not updating. Wendy Power, yeah, no kidding. This site is not updating the way it usually does. We'll move on. Man, I'm pointing tarrying around with it. Some fresh earthquakes in Puerto Rico. Well, no surprise to that. Now that's not in the San de Fuca plate, the San Juan plate, but San de Fuca. But there's usually something right here at this corner, but that's just a little south of there. Both sides of San Andres is getting shaken. We're getting setting the stage for some hotter bacon. Uh-oh, too close to New Madrid there. 2.7. Oh, it's in Oklahoma, so it's not New Madrid. All right, guys. Check the peninsula off there, 5.0. Is that 5.0 in Indonesia? Yep. Krakatoa is right here, guys, by the way. New Zealand. Oh, this is very earthquake prone area here. And you just got so many plates crisscrossing each other underneath are getting squished up since Australia and India are pushing north the way they are. That's kind of a bowl right there pushing stuff in. So this is a scrunch area. It's probably why you got these big islands here. This is a scrunch crunch. Space weather. We got some aurora going on. Your song Uneasy Rider, Charlie Daniels, what we call him. Drops family garden and worked with many engineers that got glued to the seats. I earned my license. Okay. That's easy to get glued to your seat. Rat stew. Yeah, if you get hungry enough. All right. It's spelling the way I want it to. All right, the sunspots are heading around the other side. Thank God. That's what we need. We don't need to be facing that stuff. That's good news. Talking about the Morphous getting hit by DART. I'm going to do a video on this. I'll put it on Galactic Gregs. I got everything dialed up to start it. I would have done that if I wasn't going to do this video tonight here. So you'll be seeing another video on Galactic Gregs tomorrow on the fact that we've actually changed the orbit of Dimorphos with this impact. It actually worked. This worked, guys. Doomsday's been canceled, at least one of them. Yeah, video out tomorrow. Some point tomorrow on Galactic Gregs. Watch out on Galactic Gregs channel. Oh yeah, there's no asteroids that are set to hit us that we know of. Okay, guys. None are even coming inside the distance between the Earth and the Moon. So that's good news. Nothing to lose sleep over in the asteroid world. don't quite match what Ben Manoon would tell us. Now, check out Product Papas. This is one of my other channels, Product Papas. And check out, this is my latest video there. I'm just talking about how sorry Norton is, really. Norton is pretty sorry, guys. I could use some subscribers on this channel. But do check it out. Where did this video come on? There you go. Yep. Go subscribe to Product Papas. I need to put more stuff on there. And let me go back to that. What's this? This will be Swivelhead News. This will be my channel. I'm going to start putting content on like this. This kind of content will eventually move to Swivelhead News. What's the link to Galactic? I'll share that in just a second. All right, this is Swivelhead News, SWIVEL. I'll be putting all my Swivelhead content in the not too distant future. So if you want to see this kind of stuff, you want to keep following me for this kind of content, at some point it's going to be here. All right, Galactic Gregs is coming up next. Let me go to Galactic Gregs. You're right there, Katie. On fire and their heads are a catching. Uneasy rider. It's a great song. Kick old green teeth right in the shin. That's a funny song. Stepping and fetching. Shine here. All right, let me go over and find my. I gotta kind of skip around between the screens here, guys. Give me a second. It takes me a minute. I gotta jump around between screens and make this happen. Yeah. I got too much stuff open here. Stuff don't want to move. All right, it's been stubborn. Come back over. I think it's one side or the other here. Hang on. Stop the share in case I mess something up. Halo. I want to find. I just may have to do a bunch of typing. It ain't working. Go this way. Hang on, guys. Seconds. Hey, I think I got some stuff up my computer. She's been too slow. Hang on, guys. She's about to freeze up on me. Oh, Chrome's not responding. Okay. One of them nights. Magic Carpet Ride. Hey, I love that song. Magic Carpet Ride. Do you have Rumble yet? There's a 61. Hang on. Yeah, I was trying to get some kicking music to go with it because the dealing with it's being hacked. All right, come on. Let's type it in here. Give me a second, guys. Yeah, actually, I went on Rumble, but I think I'm going to change my screen name over there. Be more important with this. Hang on. Give me a second. Maximum memory out. Why is my computer acting so weird here? No, I'm not maximum memory out. I'm looking for Task Manager. Stuff ain't wanting to work tonight, guys. Stuff is not cooperating. Here's a video y'all need to watch. Hang on. La di da di da di da. Here's not my latest video, but one I did post today on Galactic Gregs. It's one of my videos. What is going on this screen? Why does it look like that? Can't find on this screen. Oh, there we go. Give me a second, guys. Yeah, my computer's giving me some issues here tonight. Right. Come on. Here we go. Tiny bubbles in my glass. Hi guys, I'm typing in Galactic Gregs. Put the URL there. Go subscribe to that channel if you've not already done it. Subscribe. Share. Sorry, I saw a new line dug with Ruskies and sea mines. I don't know if it's real deal. Yeah, who knows what's going on right now, guys. They want to hit our infrastructure. They really do. All right, let me give a place. Hang on, guys. I got too many windows open here. There we go. Let's do share again. You're going to charge for higher rates of picture quality. I don't know what you mean. Am I charging higher? So what y'all give. This is Galactic Gregs. Alien life in our solar system, water and asteroids, live shot. The life on Mars commits suicide. Here we are, the mighty F-1 moon rocket. This is the last video I did today live. I also showed y'all the old office building in Winter von Braun that's been torn down in there. You can watch it. So let's just for fun look at the starter of this video. We're not going to play the whole thing. In life, commit suicide. Gotta get another mic. Hang on, guys. That's me right there. That's one of the space shuttles stacked in the VAB right here. Solid rocket boosters, external tank. That's me right there. That's the concept called a Stanford torus, a Barnell sphere. There's another picture of me in here. There it is. There I am. Short hair, no beard, small stash, and the space shuttle right behind me. This was, that date right? I don't think that date's right. 2/11/2004. No, that wasn't 2004. Maybe 2006. I can hardly read it. Maybe 2006. It's not 2004. Ring World. No, it wasn't Ring World, but it does look kind of like it. This is a smaller space habitat called the Stanford torus. That's a Barnell sphere. Those are rotational space habitat concepts. There it is. This is a cutaway, what we call an exploded view inside of something called a Stanford torus. You know, my a section of this is kind of similar to my Venus cloud city. So if this is 400 feet across, my cloud city is 500 feet across, and it's a sphere, whereas this is a bicycle tube. Like Gandalf Greg, you like Gandalf Greg better than Shave Greg there? I'm grateful. Yeah, I am a lot more handsome these days, right? It used to be on my desk at work. Those were refrigerator magnets I bought from the gift shop. I gave a set like that to Rex Bear and a set to Diamond at LeakCon. In life, commit suicide on Mars. Yeah, so I got a lot of special effects in this, guys. I spent a lot of time editing this video. If y'all would watch it, I'd appreciate it. And I end with some of that too. We'll find out. For that, I'm going to say thank you for watching, and Greg out. That's Fred Hayes. That's me. That's Fred Hayes. He was the Apollo 13 lunar module pilot. And it was the lunar module that saved that crew on Apollo 13. Behind us is the F1 rocket engine. That's the most powerful rocket engine. Over here is the J2. This was on the second and third stages of the Saturn V. And over here's a space shuttle main engine, now called RS-25, like you would find on our. We're standing at the bottom of the steps of building 4200, back when it was still a building, not the bare bones it is today. That's another view of the Stanford tourists looking into it. Yeah, those are sounds of probes going past Mars and Venus. Now, I did integrate some music in this time, along with a bunch of special effects. So there is some music in here. But I hope I got it low enough that it's not disturbing. It had more to do with the amount of it and taking it out of the atmosphere. Not very loud there. Easy to follow, knowing the nature of hydrogen. How in the world would the planet? That sounds pretty low. Sometimes it gets louder. They challenge us to rethink the way a biosphere. All right, I'm not gonna play the video for you. Go watch it. Don't give me no credit if you watch it on this channel. Go watch it. Let it play. Let it play out. All right, guys. I believe we've done about everything we'd set out to do tonight. So I'm gonna stop the share. Halo. That's been going over an hour. My hourglass has run out. I need coffee. I got some coffee in here. I'll check to make sure some little bug hasn't landed in it. Or drink it. There we go. I had a napkin over the top of it. Come off. Taz Blackwell, did they put people on Mars yet? No. We ain't got anyone close to Mars. Farthest we've been out's the moon. And we haven't been that far. No human being has been beyond low Earth orbit since 1972. It has been 50 years since any human being went outside low Earth orbit. Over 50 years, no man has been higher in altitude than 700 miles. The moon is 230 some odd thousand, almost 250,000 miles away. From the moon, if you put your thumb up and point it to the Earth, you can cover the Earth with your thumb. That's how the Earth looks from the moon. Maybe I'd have a big fat thumb for that, but so you know what impressed the astronauts was they could look at that little bitty Earth down there and realize the sum total of all human history and everything they love and cared about, and this whole big vast world that we're so used to was right there, and they could cover it up so easily. That really was a sobering thought for them. A very sobering thought. So we should send all the politicians to space. It's called the overview effect, but it only works for people that have empathy. How would the overview effect work with a sociopath? I think not. Protein and coffee diet can't hurt. That's my diet still, Ross. Protein and coffee, that's my diet. Bingo. Look at those dimples. Grandma said she never trust a guy with dimples. She's getting back at me now. She's getting back at me. All righty. She's getting back at me. Do you think we lost the knowledge? I did a whole video on that. Go back here to Galactic Gregs. Hang on, guys. Am I screen sharing? Looks like I am on. What? Hang on, guys. My screen sharing here. Looks like I'm actually on, I'm looking at Galactic Gregs, but I'm doing it from Swivel News. Okay. So it's all right. Let's go ahead and click on Galactic Gregs. And let's look on videos and see them all. One of these videos talks about the technology from the moon program. Just got to go back and find it. There is, oh shoot. Hybrid rockets. This is some of my stuff I was doing way back in the day. Hybrid rockets. That's my projects. Should be right in this area. This is the Mars base based on my universal habitat design. I got a video back here somewhere that explains why we can't go back to the moon. At least the way we did. Yeah, we can, but you know, it's not that we lost the knowledge, it's directly, it's different. I explained that. Where is it? Let's skip past it. Why we've not gone back to the moon. That's probably it right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, how the heck are you? We've got Rocket Builder.
Oh, it's a jump program Rex. I didn't know that. It's 2019. Look here, they posted. They're afraid I'm going to say it was fake, so they're posting this on. We're talking about going to the moon. Heck with YouTube. What's silliness? My ex-girlfriend asked me this. So if NASA can send men to the moon, why couldn't they send all the men to the moon? Okay. All right, the short answer. I'm sure I've covered that. Maybe I need to do another video. People keep asking me this. That's the oldest video on my channel right there. That video was going viral. The girl was getting so much attention from it. She asked me to pull it off, and I did. Until such time. She actually passed away, though, so I did another video on her. Then I made these public again. She not asked me to do that. This channel would have been monetized and probably bigger than Green Gregs by now. All right, guys. So we'll end that. We'll talk in a minute. Thanks for sharing that. I haven't watched that video, and I think it's up 3 years old, over 3 years old now. With Rex. LW, love, thanks. You gone, Lee? Where's he at? I don't see him. Anyway, here's what it boils down to. We still have the drawings. We still have the blueprints. We got all the drawings, all the blueprints. That was not lost. You cannot build a system like that from drawings and blueprints. Drawings and blueprints miss a lot of the corporate knowledge, the stuff that's up here. A lot of the design, go watch engineers, you sit down there and work stuff out sometimes on a napkin. We've got J2, no, we got J2s. We got the old F1 rocket engine. We've got those at Marshall. They actually did an engineering project to tear one of them apart to try to reverse engineer it to figure out what was done and why it was done. Because the documentation showed how to build it, but it didn't explain why. Or there's a lot of basic reasoning that wasn't there. This is it. Here's a blueprint, but you don't know why it's that way. You go, well, when did they do this? When did they do that? Guys that did it are dead. You ain't gonna go ask them no more. No, mostly, a lot of them are gone, or some of them are still around. They don't remember. Hey, it was probably less than 25 years ago. I could sit down and take hexadecimal code for a 16-bit system and translate it into another set of code over here that fit into an 8-bit data bus. I could look at this and look at that and translate it. Just look at the code, just write it down like that. Boy, I couldn't do any of that today because I don't do it. I haven't done it in years. So, if I was asked, if it was a survival of the world depending on me doing that, it'd take me a little time to come back up to speed. I wouldn't be able to step right back into it. There's something called parts obsolescence. When you're designing stuff and building things, the parts that you're using become obsolete real fast. The vendors you bought them from quit building them. They changed their design. I used to do industrial parts washing machines for about a year. And, when we had that defense dividend, when the wall fell, I found myself out of work. And holy smoke, you'd be designing a machine or have a machine already designed out there. And where you used to have a 3-prong switch, it became a 2-prong. And so you got, and some things I had logic boards for machines that would wash things, had PC boards built up with that logic, depending maybe on having a 3-prong switch. And now I can't get a 3-prong switch. So you have to go in and redesign the logic board to accommodate the new switch you had, or the new sensor pack, or whatever it was. There's always a lot of changes like that. Well, they had a lot of compartmentalization, but the biggest thing is stuff changes over time. Back in the days, here's another thing. You got a shop print, so it's not going to tell you how much cutting oil the machinist used on making a certain part. Now, he knows because that's what he's done always. And he might be able to show one other guy, but when you shut down the whole assembly line, everybody goes home. So how much cutting oil do you use when you're doing this? What do you use when you're doing that? What's your little trick to make this work or make that work? Everybody's got their own little tricks to make stuff work. It's the corporate knowledge, the stuff that's up here. When you dissolve an organization, all it goes poof. There's another example. There was a guy named Jim Benson, started a company called Space Dev, for short for Space Dev. He wanted to put a satellite in orbit. He had a little money, a little game behind him. I was involved in hybrid rocket motors. And I walked up to him at a Space Frontier Foundation conference way back in the 90s. I said, Jim, I'm doing hybrid rocket motors. You ought to consider hybrid rocket motors. Maybe you'd like to get involved with us. I've got this motor we're developing. He didn't say nothing. A year later, I met another one of these Space Frontier Foundation conferences. Jim Benson comes strolling up to me. He walked up to me, he pointed his finger in my face, and he said, you can't use hybrid rocket motors no more. I just bought the patents. You got to quit. I looked at him and says, he bought them from Amrock. I said, I know what Amrock's patents were. Those are LOX hybrid motors. They got nothing to do with the nitrous oxide hybrid motors I'm building. I said, we do not fit under that patent, and you can't stop me. He turned around and walked off, and he never said a word about it later. Now, another year later, we was at another one of those conferences, and he was getting up talking about, hey, well, he's going to do these motors and blah, 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 blah. And after he didn't know I was going to be there. And I got him talk, well, you can talk about what you're going to do, but I'll tell you what I have been doing. And I've been doing these and blah, 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 blah. So I put him in the stone again. Now, it turned out that when the Spaceship One was being built, my guys that worked building these hybrid rocket motors with me, who went out and worked for Burt Rutan. And Burt Rutan, he got that idea from my crew to use a nitrous oxide hybrid rocket motor. Oh yeah, Jim Benson had drawings, but they didn't know how to build those rocket motors they had the drawings for. And a hybrid is one of the simplest rockets you can come up with. They couldn't make them work. because they didn't have the corporate knowledge. They bought out some other company's drawings. There's a lot of stories on that. I can go more into. Don't go into it tonight, but there's a lot of stories. Unless y'all want to hear them. The molten salt thorium reactors load falling, and safest power generation. Oh, there's problem with thorium is you have to put a lot of high energy into processing the thorium fuel. Anyway, it's like riding a bike. It would come back to you pretty quick. I don't know. That that hexadecimal is pretty darn detailed. Well, I used to pick up a punch card and just without any something, you could always type on the old punch cards, but sometimes you didn't type on. I could pick up a punch card with no type on, tell you exactly what that punch card said about the position and the holes, because I knew it was binary coded decimal. I knew how binary coded decimal worked. I could think digitally back in the day. Our stuff is compromised. Our next has got their work cut out for them. Okay. Great ideas get shelved. Well, there was a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah, I had my own rocket team drops, like quite a rocket team at one time. A lot of story on that. You'll see, we got a couple of videos, people talking about my dad died in 1999, was the same field as you. His name was Robert Tranor. Bob Tranor. Where was he at? Where was he at? YZ? Yeah, go look at my video here on Galactic Gregs on these reactors. There's a video there. And they're not just your regular, these are fast neutron reactors we're talking about. Not quite fast beta, not your normal molten salt reactors either. So we think we got a pretty safe reactor concept here. All the different vendors and machinists that work on the Saturn V, I'm surprised it worked, to be honest. That's true. Well, the problem is all that stuff changes. The welding techniques have changed. A lot of the base techniques, how things were manufactured, aren't that way anymore. They just don't manufacture things this way or that way. Now, here's the good news, though. We could actually build a better F1 than what they had on the Saturn V. They re-engineered the concept. They come up with a version that's got less parts, a lot simpler to build, using technologies we have today. So we could build a better, more powerful, cheaper F1 than was on the rocket motor back then. So why aren't we using that? Just saying. It's too bad we're not using that. So and even SpaceX. See, SpaceX got tons of smaller motors. I mean, their big motors. Raptor's an impressive engine. They've made huge hurdles and improvements in the Raptor engine that they're using on SpaceX. But 33 of them, whoever's the SpaceX reliability guy, somebody ought to fire him. See if we got to tell Elon that reliability is inversely proportional to parts count. 33 engines, holy fucking smoke and moly. Yikes. Patrick Bellamere says, among developers, the molten salt reactor experiment is a legendary status. Okay. Ready for push a lot. This way over my head. Okay. Turning wrenches. Somebody's got to turn wrenches. I'm kidding. That's important too. As important as anything, maybe more important. You keep it running. Alrighty, guys. There's probably more stuff over here. Let me see. Go back and do a share on this page again. All right, we got to get out of here. I got stuff to do, guys. I got stuff to do tonight. It's getting late in a hurry. All the reactor talk, I'm gonna come back over here. So, Zeta Talk. You may remember her in that channel called Zeta Talk when we got reactor talk. Here we go. Safe, plentiful energy, fast neutron reactor. Check that video out. Did it a month ago. There's my friend Les Johnson. Check him out. Oh yeah, I couldn't think of it. Bob Zubrin's the guy on down here I was interviewing. Yeah, that's Bob Zubrin. Rex managed to interview him one day. Rex says, "Do you know Greg Allison?" He goes, "Yes, I know Greg Allison." I thought it was just funny. It was Rex was just taken back. Wow, yeah, he knows me. Yes, in case you really wonder, I am bona fide space. Way back. If you want to see the weirdest video I've ever produced, light from voice anomaly, but look at the links in there to the one that Rex produced. Look at that video and tell me what was really going on. Oh yeah, this is my video. One of many proofs that the Earth is a sphere. If the Earth was flat, this video would not have worked the way I was explaining it. There was a solar eclipse over Ecuador, and I was explaining why, based on what we were seeing, the flat Earth model did not work. Right there. There's so many ways to get at that. So many ways. So many ways. Alrighty, guys. Yeah, I'm producing videos. I had a lull for a while with this video. I want to make this channel active because I'm trying to get this channel monetized. So guys, watch my videos there. Subscribe to this channel and watch the videos. I need help, guys. We need to get this channel monetized. Because they're really stomping on me hard over on Green Gregs. So help me out here. So interesting stuff, but now thunder, lightning, and rain in North Georgia. Yeah, that was over me here a little while ago. 130 in the room. 169 thumbs up. Appreciate that. Kirk Sorensen was instrumental in explaining the technology. Guys, this is one talk. I divided it in two originally, and then I combined it later. But you should go hear this lady. This lady passed away. This cute woman talking here is no longer with us. Amy is gone, unfortunately. And I did kind of a memorial video of her, and I combined those two videos and gave it a different lead in. There it is, anti-gravity research. This is an hour-long video. Amy Eskridge is the woman here talking. Yeah, you have to pardon me. We were in the library and there was somebody doing something else. There was some exterior wrecking. I couldn't help it there, but very, very good talk here. This room is packed full of Marshall Space Flight Center engineers. We're talking UFO drive engines, and nobody was laughing or giggling. Everybody was taking it dead serious. Not from space. I got different videos. You need to check his channel out. Especially these videos that last an hour. If you let them play, just walk around, you'll be earning me some time, which I need 4,000 hours to get within 1 year to get monetization. The crazy thing, and you got to have over 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. The funny thing is, I've got almost 4,000 subscribers, or 3,690 some odd. And actually, the total watch time on this channel is 8,000 hours, but I never got it in 1 year. And no year have I got 4,000 views on this channel. So I'm really pushing it now to try to get 4,000 views. So you guys can help me. Watch these videos. Just let them play them. You know, they're interesting to listen to. I believe we can fix all kinds of things with engineering. Star Trek. How to stop all hypersonic vehicles. Now, I've put this on both channels, but watch it over here. China's plan to leave SpaceX in the dust. ATACMS in action. I'm sure how powerful that ATACMS missile is. Holy guacamole, it's a mind boggler. How to stop all missiles. Yeah, I go into that. Putin says it can't be done. I go, yeah, it can, and here's how to do it. And so, yeah. Watch it, share it. Maybe we can get this to catch on. And let's see here. Looks like this is my All right, I'm on Galactic Gregs channel, but I'm viewing it from Swivel News. No content here yet, but I just got this channel approved to do long content over 50 minutes and to go live. So I'm gonna start going live from here more and more. Thank you, C103. Appreciate that. What are we gonna call tonight? I got some stuff to do. A lot of stuff to do tonight. I ain't ready to go to bed yet, but I got to get up early, so I need to get at it. I thank everybody for super chatting. Check this out. I'm gonna put this link in the notes. Stop the share. Hello. All right, let me go find the notes section. Ding, oops. Why am I there? Oh, I lost the chat. Name Barroso 1,000 years ago. Right, guys, I don't know. I can't find the. I can't find what I'm looking for over there. I could probably get on this side. Oh, you posted. Thank you there, New Days. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Let's call it a night here. I gotta go. I got some stuff I got to do. Usually we do a little prayer session. I want to skip it tonight. I got to get on. I got to get back on my work. I got a work task I got to finish before tomorrow morning. Seriously, I do. Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep it clean there, folks. We got to keep things clean. That's too far out there. Cha, good job. That's Mr. Nuts. That's a little too much for our channel. We try to keep things clean. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Y'all take care, everyone. And with that, I'm gonna say, oh, thank you, super chatters. Thank you, mods. You've been busy. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for the thumbs up.